Welcome to Daily English Room. Today's topic is family. Do you get along well with your family?
Generally, yes, though we have our moments. My parents and I sometimes clash over career choices. They wanted me to work for a big state company, but I chose a tech startup. My sister and I get along great now, although we fought a lot as kids over silly things like who got to use the computer first.
Yes, I'm blessed to have a harmonious family life. Of course, there are occasional disagreements, especially with my mother-in-law about child-raising practices. But we respect each other's opinions and find middle ground. My husband is great at mediating when needed.
Absolutely. We're a typical passionate Brazilian family. We might argue loudly one minute and laugh together the next. My older brother and I compete over who makes better feijoada, but it's all in good fun. Family meals can get pretty noisy with everyone talking over each other.
We have a peaceful relationship. Japanese families often prioritize harmony, so we try to be considerate of each other's feelings. Sometimes I wish we could be more open about disagreements, but I appreciate the stability of our relationship.
Absolutely. Despite the distance, we maintain strong bonds. Being the oldest of 6 children, I've always felt responsible for my siblings. We have our disagreements, especially when my parents question my adventurous career choice, but there's always mutual respect and love between us.
We get along very well. In Nigerian culture, family harmony is important. Sure, my siblings and I have our squabbles, and sometimes my parents' traditional views clash with my more modern outlook, but our bonds remain strong. We believe in solving conflicts through family meetings.
Do you have a large family?
I come from a relatively small family by Chinese standards. It's just my parents, my younger sister, and me. Right now, I live alone in an apartment in Shanghai, but I visit my family every weekend for dinner. It's our tradition.
Oh yes, I have quite a large family. I live with my husband and our 2 children, one boy and a girl. In Morocco, it's common to have extended family nearby. My parents-in-law live in the same neighborhood, and we see them almost daily.
My family is huge. I have 4 siblings, and between us, there are 12 nieces and nephews. I currently live with my wife in a small apartment near the restaurant where I work, but our place is always full of relatives dropping by.
My family is average-sized for Japan. I have one older brother who's married with a baby. I live by myself in Tokyo, while my parents' and brother's family live in Kamakura. Sometimes I miss the noise and comfort of a full house.
Yes, quite large by Slovenian standards. I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, and I'm the eldest. My parents still run our family farm near Bled. We're scattered across Slovenia now, but everyone returns to the farm for important celebrations. Large family gatherings are quite lively.
Coming from Nigeria, I have what you'd call an extensive family. I'm the second of 6 children, and my siblings are all still living with our parents while I'm at university. We also have countless cousins, aunts, and uncles who visit regularly. It's always lively.
Are you close to all of your family members?
I'm closest to my immediate family, my parents and sister. With extended family, it varies. I have a cousin who's like a brother to me, but some relatives I only see during Chinese New Year. Social media helps me stay somewhat connected with everyone though.
I would say so. In Moroccan culture, maintaining strong family ties is important. I'm very close to my siblings and parents, though they live in a different city. My husband's family has become my second family, especially my sisters-in-law, who are like best friends now.
More or less. I'm super close to my siblings and parents. We talk daily on WhatsApp. With extended family, it depends. Some cousins are like siblings to me, while others I barely know despite being related. But when we meet at family events, it's like no time has passed.
I'm closest to my brother and parents. My relationship with extended family is more formal. We meet at family occasions and exchange New Year's cards. There's a cousin I went to university with who became a close friend, but that's an exception.
I'm closest to my youngest brother, who shares my passion for outdoor adventures. We often go climbing together. With others, the connection varies. My middle sister and I don't always see eye to eye, but we respect each other.
In Nigeria, family extends beyond blood relations. I'm close to my immediate family, and many cousins are like siblings to me. We even consider close family friends as aunties and uncles. It can be overwhelming sometimes, but mostly it's wonderful having such a large support network.
How often do you spend time with your family?
Besides my weekend dinners with my parents and sister, we have a daily family chat on WeChat. During lunch breaks at work, I often make quick video calls to my mom. Chinese New Year is when our whole extended family gets together.
Family time is integrated into my daily life. Besides living with my children and husband, I see my in-laws daily and my own parents at least twice a week. Fridays are special as we all gather for a traditional family lunch after prayers.
Despite my busy schedule as a chef, family time is sacred to me. Every Sunday, I cook a big lunch for my parents, siblings, and their kids. It's noisy and chaotic, but that's how we Brazilians like it. During the week, we stay connected through our family WhatsApp group.
Since I moved to Tokyo for work, I don't see my family as often as I'd like. They live in Kamakura, but we video call every week. I try to visit them during major holidays like Obon and New Year. When I do visit, my mom always makes sure to cook all my favorite dishes.
I visit my parents at the farm monthly, especially during harvest seasons when they need extra hands. My siblings and I try to meet at least once every 2 months. During winter holidays, we all gather at my parents' place for a week. Technology helps us stay connected between visits.
I visit my family in Lekki during term breaks, usually 3 times a year. Each visit lasts about 2 weeks, which feels too short. We make those times count with family dinners where all my siblings catch up. I video call my parents weekly and my younger siblings join sometimes. My grandfather's farm is a special place. I try to spend at least 3 days there during each visit to help and learn traditional farming practices that connect with my environmental studies.
How do you spend time with your family?
Besides our weekly family dinners, we love playing mahjong together, even though my dad always wins. We also have a family tradition of watching the Spring Festival Gala during Chinese New Year. Recently, we've started hiking together on weekends when the weather is good.
A lot of our family time revolves around meals. We often cook together. It's how I pass down traditional recipes to my children. On weekends, we visit my in-laws where the kids play with their cousins. During Ramadan, our evenings are dedicated to breaking fast together and sharing stories.
Food is central to our family time. I love cooking for everyone. We critique each other's dishes and share recipes. We also watch football matches together. It gets quite competitive as we support different teams. On birthdays, we have big barbecues that last all day.
When I visit my family in Kamakura, we often go to local hot springs together. At home, we enjoy doing puzzles. We're currently working on a 2,000-piece one. My mom and I love visiting local cafes to try new desserts, while my dad and brother prefer watching baseball games together.
When we're together, we usually enjoy outdoor activities. I've taught all my siblings to rock climb, and we often hike in the Julian Alps. In winter, we go skiing together. At my parents' farm, we help with seasonal work, followed by large dinners where we share stories and laugh a lot.
We love dancing together. Family gatherings always involve music and showing off new dance moves. We also spend time cooking traditional dishes. My mum insists everyone learns to cook proper jollof rice. On weekends, we often attend extended family events like weddings or naming ceremonies.
In what way is your family important to you?
My family is my foundation. They've supported my dreams while keeping me grounded in our traditions. When I was struggling with my first coding job, my parents never lost faith in me. My sister, being brutally honest, always gives me reality checks when I need them. They make me work harder because I want to make them proud.
My family gives me strength and purpose. As a mother, seeing my children grow and learn makes everything worthwhile. My family also connects me to my heritage. Through them, I maintain our traditions while adapting to modern life. They're my support system when balancing teaching and motherhood gets challenging.
Family is everything to me. They're my biggest critics and strongest supporters. When I was considering culinary school, my family let me practice on them. They ate some terrible dishes without complaining. They've taught me that success means nothing if you can't share it with loved ones. Plus, they're my best recipe testers.
My family provides a sense of stability in my often hectic life as a designer. They remind me of who I am beyond my career. When I doubt myself, I remember how my father always says, "Ganba te," do your best, and it gives me courage. They also help me stay connected to Japanese traditions despite living in busy Tokyo.
My family represents roots and stability in my rather nomadic life as a tour guide. They've taught me the value of hard work through our farming background. When guiding tourists through Slovenia, I often share family stories that connect to our landscape and culture. They're my strongest support system.
My family is my motivation to succeed. Being the first in my family to attend university, they inspire me to work harder. They've taught me our cultural values while supporting my modern ambitions. When I'm stressed about environmental science projects, they remind me of our connection to the land and why my work matters.
When did you last have a family party?
Just last month for my mother's birthday. We surprised her with a cake I ordered from her favorite bakery. My sister decorated the house with red lanterns. Red is our lucky color. We played mahjong, and for once, we let Mom win. Even my uncle who lives in Beijing joined via video call.
We had a big celebration last week for my son's birthday. We decorated the house with balloons, and I prepared traditional Moroccan sweets. All the cousins came over, and my mother-in-law made her famous couscous. The children had a great time doing face painting and playing traditional games.
Last weekend, in Brazil, we don't need a special occasion for a family party, but this was for my nephew's first communion. I prepared a feast, feijoada, pão de queijo, and brigadeiros. We had samba music playing, and my aunts insisted on everyone dancing. It lasted all day and night, typical Brazilian style.
Our last big family gathering was during Obon Festival in August. We all returned to my parents' home in Kamakura. We visited our ancestors' graves, had a barbecue in the garden, and watched fireworks together. My brother's little one wore a yukata for the first time. She looked so cute.
Just 3 weeks ago, we celebrated my father's 70th birthday at the family farm. All my siblings came with their partners and children. We prepared traditional Slovenian dishes, and I organized a slideshow of family photos from throughout the years. We stayed up until dawn telling stories.
Oh, just this past weekend. My cousin got engaged, so we had a big party to celebrate. Everyone wore colorful traditional attire, we had multiple generations of women cooking jollof rice and pounded yam, and the music and dancing went on until dawn. Nigerian parties are always epic, we really know how to celebrate.
How your family influenced you.
My family has shaped me in countless ways, both obvious and subtle. My father's work ethic definitely rubbed off on me. He never missed a day of work in 30 years. This influenced my approach to my coding career. I have the same dedication. But it's not all positive. I also inherited his tendency to be a workaholic. My mother's influence is different. She taught me the importance of maintaining harmony, sometimes to a fault. I often find myself being the mediator in conflicts at work, just like she is in our family. My sister, being more outspoken, taught me to stand up for myself. When I was hesitant about joining a startup, she pushed me to take the risk. Even my grandmother influenced my love for technology. She always said, "Learn something new every day," which sparked my curiosity about computers.
My family's influence runs through every aspect of my life, like a golden thread in a tapestry. As a teacher, I find myself using my mother's patient explanation style. She never raised her voice, even when teaching me difficult Arabic calligraphy. My father, who worked 2 jobs to support my education, instilled in me the belief that learning is the greatest wealth. This drives me to provide the best education for both my students and my children. My upbringing in a bilingual household showed me the power of language, which is why I'm so passionate about my children being multilingual. Even the way I discipline my students is influenced by my family. I learned from my aunt, also a teacher, that respect earns more than fear. Sometimes, I catch myself using my mother's expressions, and I realize just how deeply their influence runs.
Being a chef, the most obvious influence is culinary. My passion for food comes straight from my family kitchen. But it goes much deeper than recipes. My mother taught me that food is a language of love. When I create new dishes, I'm not just cooking, I'm communicating. My father's influence was about perseverance. He had a small shop that struggled for years, but he never gave up. His resilience inspired me. When my first restaurant failed, I knew I had to try again. My grandmother? She taught me to trust my instincts. She never used recipes, always cooked by feel. This influences how I experiment with flavors. Even my competitive spirit comes from family, trying to outdo my siblings in the kitchen. But perhaps the biggest influence is the importance of bringing people together. In my family, every problem was solved around the dinner table. Now, creating these moments of connection for others is my life's work.
My family's influence on me is like the subtle brushstrokes in a traditional Japanese painting. Not immediately obvious, but essential to the overall picture. My father, being a salaryman, initially made me rebel against corporate culture, pushing me toward a creative career. Yet, his dedication to perfection influences my design work. I find myself obsessing over details just like he does. My mother's influence is in my time management. She ran our household like a well-oiled machine, and now I apply that same efficiency to my projects. Growing up, my brother and I shared a tiny room, which taught me minimalism. A principle that now defines my design aesthetic. Even my career choice was influenced by family dynamics. As the daughter in a traditional Japanese family, I felt pressure to conform to certain roles. This sparked my determination to forge my own path in graphic design, while still respecting our cultural values. It's a delicate balance, but it's made me who I am.
As a tour guide, storytelling is my bread and butter, and that comes directly from my family. My grandfather was a walking encyclopedia of local legends. His stories sparked my love for history and culture. My mother's adventurous spirit influenced my career choice. She always said, "The world is a book, and those who don't travel read only one page. But my family also taught me responsibility. Being the oldest sibling meant looking after the younger ones, which translated into how I care for my tour groups. Whether I'm planning a tour route or ensuring everyone's safety on a mountain trek, one think of his precision with my father's tools. Perhaps most importantly, growing up in a close-knit Slovenian family taught me the value of community. When I guide tours, I try to create that same sense of belonging among strangers.
My family's influence on me is as vibrant and complex as traditional African fabric. As a young woman studying environmental science, my path might seem unconventional, but it's deeply rooted in family values. My grandfather, a farmer, taught me to respect the land. His wisdom about seasonal changes and crop patterns sparked my interest in environmental studies. My mother's activism in our community showed me that one person can make a difference. When I speak up about climate change, I hear her voice in my conviction. My father, who speaks 5 Nigerian languages, taught me the power of communication across cultures, a skill I use in international climate conferences. Even my decision to wear traditional clothing in professional settings was influenced by my aunties, who taught me to be proudly African in any context. My siblings' competitiveness pushed me to excel academically, but they also taught me collaboration, essential in scientific research. Perhaps most significantly, my family's communal approach to problem-solving influences how I view environmental challenges, as issues that require collective action.
How has technology changed the way you communicate with your family?
WeChat has revolutionized how I connect with my family. We have a family group where we share everything from daily meals to work achievements. My grandparents learned to use smartphones just to stay in touch with us, and now they're pros at sending voice messages.
Technology has made it easier to balance my roles as a mother and teacher. I can quickly check in with my children via messages while at work. We also use educational apps together, which helps combine family time with learning English.
It's been incredible for sharing my culinary journey with my family. I send photos of new dishes I'm creating, and my mom gives feedback, sometimes a bit too much. We also have monthly video calls with relatives in Portugal, which wouldn't have been possible years ago.
Social media helps me feel connected to my family despite the distance. I follow my brother's baby's growth through the photos he posts, and my parents have gotten really good at using Line to send stickers and quick updates. Though sometimes I miss writing letters like we used to.
It's been transformative. We have a family WhatsApp group where we share daily updates and photos. I use video calls to show my parents the beautiful places I discover while guiding. When I'm in remote mountains with limited reception, they track my location through a safety app.
Technology has actually brought our already close family even closer. We have a hilarious family TikTok account where we post dance challenges together. It's also helped me stay connected with relatives in our village. We use WhatsApp to organize family reunions and share important news.
What is your special moment with your family?
Last year, when I was going through a really tough time at work, I was staying late at the office almost every night. One evening, my dad unexpectedly showed up. He didn't say much, he's not really the talkative type. He just handed me a thermos of my mom's homemade soup and sat with me while I ate. His quiet presence meant everything. It reminded me of when I was little, how he'd silently sit beside me when I was struggling with homework. Sometimes love doesn't need words, you know? That moment made me realize that no matter how old I get, I'm still their child, and they'll always be there for me.
Our annual summer trips to the beach in Tangier stand out as truly special. We spend a week there where my husband and I teach our children to swim and build elaborate sand castles. Last year, my son overcame his fear of waves, and we celebrated with a picnic at sunset. These moments away from our busy routines allow us to connect deeply. The children practice both Arabic and French as we talk about the sea creatures we spot, and I treasure watching them grow more confident each year as they explore the shoreline.
2 years ago, my grandmother was very ill. She had always been the one to make fish stew for our family gatherings, but she couldn't anymore. One Sunday, I decided to make her recipe. I was so nervous. It was her signature dish, you know? When I served it, she took one taste and started crying. I thought I had messed it up, but she held my hand and said, "Now I can rest peacefully, knowing our family's flavors are safe with you." She passed away a few months later, but in that moment, she passed on more than just a recipe. She passed on her legacy of nurturing our family through food. Now, every time I make that stew, I feel her with me in the kitchen.
When I was struggling with depression last year, I didn't tell my family. I didn't want to burden them. But during my birthday visit home, as I was about to leave, my brother quietly slipped an envelope into my bag. On the train, I opened it to find a hand-drawn manga he'd made, showing different memories of us growing up together. The last page said, "Whatever you're going through, remember, you're never alone." He had noticed I wasn't myself, and in this uniquely Japanese way of communicating difficult emotions, he reached out. I cried the whole way back to Tokyo, but for the first time in months, they were tears of relief. Sometimes the deepest love is shown in the most subtle ways.
Last summer, I finally convinced my father to try rock climbing. After initial reluctance, he made it up a beginner route in Triglav National Park. Seeing the pride in his eyes and hearing him say he now understands my passion was incredibly moving. We all celebrated with a picnic afterward.
During my grandfather's 80th birthday celebration last year, he did something that changed me forever. In our culture, elders don't often show emotion openly, but that day was different. He called me to sit beside him and, in front of the whole extended family, he started talking about his life journey. From being unable to read to seeing his granddaughter in university. Then he took off his ancestral coral beads, a symbol of wisdom and heritage in our tradition, and placed them around my neck. His eyes were filled with tears as he said in Yoruba, "You carry our past and our future." Everyone gasped because such beads are usually given to sons. But my grandfather said, "She has the spirit of our ancestors." In that moment, I felt the weight of his dreams, his struggles, and his love. Those beads remind me daily that I stand on the shoulders of giants, and that love transcends traditional boundaries.
In what ways do you think family dynamics have changed in your country over the past few decades?
The one-child policy had a huge impact on Chinese family structure. Now that it's changed, there's a mix of family sizes. Social media has made it easier to maintain relationships with distant relatives, especially during holidays like Chinese New Year when not everyone can travel home. However, there's also pressure to present a perfect family image online, which can be stressful.
There's been a significant shift in Morocco. Traditionally, extended families lived together, but now more young couples are choosing to live separately. Social media has impacted family life too. We're more connected digitally but sometimes less present physically. As a mother, I try to balance technology use in our home.
The biggest change I've noticed is that more women are pursuing careers, like my wife. This has led to more equal partnerships in marriages. Also, families are getting smaller. My grandparents had 8 children, my parents had 5, and I'm planning to have just 2. But our strong family values remain the same, just in a more modern context.
Japan has seen a huge shift towards nuclear families. When my grandparents were young, 3 generations living together was normal. Now, many young people move to big cities for work, leaving their hometowns. There's also less pressure to marry early, though this can worry traditional parents who are eager for grandchildren.
Since Slovenia gained independence, family life has become more diverse. Divorce is more accepted now, and blended families are common. Despite these changes, there's still a strong emphasis on family bonds. One interesting trend is young adults living with parents longer due to economic factors, which actually helps preserve some traditional family dynamics.
The rise of social media has had a big impact on Nigerian families. It's made the generation gap more noticeable. My parents often comment on how different things were in their day. But it's also helped preserve our extended family connections despite urbanization. The role of women has evolved too. More of us are pursuing education and careers while still maintaining family traditions.
How do you think social media affects family relationships in modern times?
In China, social media like WeChat has become integral to family life. It's great for coordinating family gatherings and sharing photos instantly. But sometimes it creates unrealistic expectations. Everyone shares only their happiest moments, making others feel inadequate. I've noticed my sister comparing our family events to her friends' perfectly curated posts.
As a mother and teacher, I see both benefits and drawbacks. Social media helps my children stay in touch with relatives abroad, which is wonderful for maintaining our cultural connections. However, I worry about privacy. Many parents overshare their children's lives online. We've set family guidelines about what can be posted and what should remain private.
In my experience, social media has brought both challenges and benefits to family life. It's wonderful for sharing recipes and cooking videos with my family across Brazil. My aunt in Sao Paulo can see what I'm cooking in Rio. But sometimes I worry that we're losing the art of face-to-face conversation. That's why I insist on those Sunday family lunches, phones away, just good food and real talk.
It's a double-edged sword, really. Social media helps me stay updated with my cousins' lives, and we often comment on each other's posts. But during family gatherings, I notice everyone's often on their phones instead of talking. My grandmother actually implemented a "no phones at dinner" rule, which I think is great.
It's a double-edged sword. Social media helps my family stay connected despite distance, especially for sharing photos and quick updates. However, I notice during family gatherings that people sometimes prioritize posting perfect moments rather than fully experiencing them. We've established phone-free meals to maintain genuine connection.
Social media has really transformed family dynamics in Nigeria. It's broken down some hierarchical barriers. I can now casually chat with my aunts and uncles online, which wouldn't have happened face-to-face due to cultural respect norms. It's also made family conflicts more complicated though, as disagreements can quickly escalate when everyone can comment publicly.
Should we rely heavily on our families, or is it better to try to be independent?
This is something I actually struggle with daily. In Chinese culture, family interdependence is deeply valued, and there's often a negative view of being too independent. When I chose to live alone instead of with my parents, some relatives saw it as disrespectful. Personally, I believe the best approach is a balance. I'm building my career independently, but I also know my family is there when I need them. For instance, when I was considering changing jobs, I discussed it with my parents, not because I needed their permission, but because I value their wisdom. I think true maturity is understanding that being independent doesn't mean cutting family ties, but rather choosing when to lean on them and when to stand on your own.
In Morocco, this isn't really an either-or question. Family and independence coexist in a unique way. As a working mother, I've found that relying on family actually enables my independence. My in-laws help with childcare, which allows me to pursue my teaching career. At the same time, I make my own decisions about how to raise my children and manage my classroom. I think the Western concept of complete independence from family isn't always practical or even desirable. In our culture, we see family support as a strength, not a weakness. That said, I do encourage my children to think independently and make their own choices while understanding that family is their safety net. It's like being a tree. You need strong roots to grow tall.
As a Brazilian, this question makes me laugh a little. In our culture, trying to be completely independent from family would be like trying not to breathe. But seriously, I've found my own way to balance it. I run my own restaurant and make my own decisions, but I'd be lying if I said I did it all alone. When I was starting out, my family helped me financially, and they're still my most loyal customers and honest critics. I think the key is to build your own life while keeping family connections strong. For example, I make my own recipes but still call my mother for advice sometimes. Being independent doesn't mean being alone. It means being strong enough to know when to lean on others and when to stand on your own 2 feet.
This question reflects a tension I feel every day as a modern Japanese woman. Our society emphasizes group harmony, and family ties are paramount, yet there's increasing pressure to be self-reliant. I've chosen a path that's somewhat unconventional, moving to Tokyo for my career in design, living alone, prioritizing my professional growth. However, I've learned that independence isn't about disconnecting from family, but about building a healthy interdependence. I make my own choices, but I also recognize that my ability to do so comes from the foundation my family provided. When I face a difficult decision, I still seek my parents' advice, not because I can't decide for myself, but because I respect their perspective. Perhaps true independence is having the wisdom to know when to rely on your family and when to rely on yourself.
Balance is crucial. Slovenian culture traditionally emphasizes family interdependence, which provides valuable support. However, my own journey taught me that independence fosters personal growth. I believe in maintaining strong family bonds while building self-reliance. Independence doesn't mean disconnection. It means bringing more to your family relationships.
In Nigeria, this isn't just a personal question, it's a generational and cultural one. Our traditional values emphasize family interdependence, but as a young, educated woman, I also feel the pull toward independence. I believe the real question isn't whether to rely on family or be independent, but how to be interdependent in a healthy way. My education is giving me the tools to be independent, but I wouldn't be at university without my family's support, both financial and emotional. I'm learning that being independent doesn't mean rejecting family support, but rather being strong enough to both give and receive help. For instance, I make my own decisions about my studies and future career, but I also contribute to family discussions and decisions. It's like being part of a choir. You sing your own note, but you're also part of a larger harmony.
That's all for today's daily English room conversation practice. Thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed this video, like, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button. See you next time.